Your comments and views and concerns on the Runnymede local plan should be known to the planning inspector when the time becomes available. That is the opportunity that you will have to submit your objections, comments, or whatever the support, whatever you need to do at that point, and they will all be taken into account. A number of residents have also brought forward their ideas, and no doubt will be considered in this exercise going forward. But finding a solution is a must if this area is not to grind to a complete halt, given all the development that's proposed. But forgetting the development, the current traffic in this area is a nightmare. I would be very hesitant to be accepting of anything that deters the continued success of this hall, and that I will certainly.
Detailed design, when we get to that point, includes detailed consultation with you, with the boroughs, with everybody who is regarded as a consultancy that we need to speak to before we go to final contract assignment. There has to be high-level consultation. And I think that the community is part of that high-level consultation.
There's probably close to £500,000 worth of work in bringing forward experts to understand the ramifications of this junction, because we won't look at that, we'll look at the area. We'll look at the roads that feed up to the next roundabout. We'll look at what it does to Ottershaw Village, how it feeds into it. So there's a whole bigger amount of work that goes into it from our point of view. And then the consultation will be, these are some thoughts that we have and what we will need to, what we feel makes the traffic work. How does that work with you? Can we arrive at those outcomes slightly differently, but actually working with the local community and finding different ways to do it? And that's what we do. I said, why are we talking about this? Because this is just a diagram. It's just an idea to support the local plan. This is not what's going to be delivered. There's nothing behind it.
The Surrey County Council have to take ownership of the developments in association with the other three boroughs around the locality, and it stretches from the exits of the M25, Junction 11, through Silesian, up Holloway Hill, all the way through to Woking. And that study, and also up to Addleston, that study has got to be done properly in detail once this plan is approved by the planning inspector, if it is approved by the planning inspector. And that's why I prefaced my comments earlier on this evening to say, when the planning inspector calls for evidence, please make certain that you submit the evidence. Because if that evidence is not submitted, you run the risk that the plan will be approved by the inspector, and then there will be very little you can do about it, because the borough will fall back on the issue it was approved by the planning inspector.
And Michael presented a paper to us. I must say that 3/4 of it was about the local plan, but that was not what we were talking about. He came forward with a view as to how he could obviate the difficulty of the Ottershaw roundabout, and the outcome was that I said to Michael, I would have the traffic engineers who develop all these things look at it seriously, and we would get back to him. I did also say that it would not be an immediate priority, but most certainly within 4 to 6 weeks we'll go back to him and we'll critique his views, which is what I would expect our traffic engineers to do. Of course you couldn't and shouldn't destroy a village or allow or make it to the point that nobody can access one side to the other. It's like building a wall down the middle of the road, isn't it? That would be part of the consultation. That would be part of the work that our officers would do.
Consultation with who?
With yourselves, with other partners. The consultation will be with Runnymede Borough Council as well. The consultation will include Surrey Heath Borough Council, and Woking Borough Council will also be included. Okay, Foxhill Road is a problem, everybody knows that. I am aware of a proposal that could come forward, which would be the Christmas tree. However, most of you already know this, Runnymede has said categorically no.
Will there be any development from the local plan allowed to start before the A320 is improved?
Very short answer, no. As I indicated, the earliest opportunity we will have to bring forward the outline first case to government will be in March. Now, that will be a very brief outline of what we would expect to look at more seriously and in more depth. I would suggest that after that first case has been signed off, allowing us to go on to the second phase, that would be a time I would expect, if you want, to bring it back to you for consideration. Because it will have the outline of what government has said, yes, we can see that, so here's the money, off you go and do it. But before you do it, I'll bring it back. And so will the other people who are sitting in this room who are councillors or connected in any way.
There are people who put modelling together, there are people who look at communities, there are people who look at environment. All of those will feed into and refer to and be consulted on a plan that's going in, including the local community. So all of that stuff will be brought into the equation.
I would like an assurance that that car park will be retained. In whatever plan is eventually constructed, that you will have a car park to keep the viability of this hall.
Sheila, I would be mad to say you're not going to lose that. But how about I buy the steakhouse as part of the roundabout development? If there is that kind of roundabout there, how about you put your car park over there?
You might find, like the ladies said over here about a bypass, you might find the junction can't handle it at all. So we need to do bypass and we need to develop other ways of delivering it. There's all sorts of things that need to feed into it before we get to that stage.
All right, I'd like to wind up and say thank you very much indeed. I understand there's a level of frustration, primarily with the Runnymede Borough Council local plan, and I'm hoping that people will use the opportunity to write into the inspector whether you accept it or not. I've been in these plans, and if you make enough noise, you will be heard. So my advice is make certain that you do make your voices known effectively going forward.